Alright everyone, welcome back to take 2 of my Genlock livestream discussion pre-show here. Now, first off, to those who were here before, I'd like to first apologize for what happened yesterday. Boy, I'm 20 minutes in the stream and my internet literally decided to crash on me because apparently the load of the upload was just too much for it. To this day, I'm still a little worried right now. I made some changes in the settings here and there. So hopefully it's great here. It can handle the upload speed right now. Let's see here. So yeah, but we're starting back up from the beginning here. I'm making sure everything's working fine right now, because you never know. But right now, as I'm streaming... Oh, wow, oh, boy. 10.20 in upload. Oh, I don't trust that. Don't trust that at all, but... Anyhow, we're back with Genlock here. So, I'm going to finally talk about this, because... Jesus Christ! And I swear, this thing better not... OBS, my internet here. I don't know what happened. My internet cracked, and even my computer decided to yeah, I can't take this, so I'm turning off the antennae. Two things screwed with me. Well, so moving on, let's get to the meat of this discussion here. Genlock. With first thing first, where we started off last time here, we got the... Oh boy. Let me see here. Oh boy, I see what's happening here. Shit. Apologies, people. It seems that my manipulating the settings here has seemed to have affected so much. This is what happened. It seems manipulating the settings seem to have completely just altered the rate. I altered the ratio and everything, so things will appear clipped. I apologize. But anyhow, here we got the original poster that came out that premiered for Genlock. It was a few years ago, and when I first saw this, I was of course excited. Rooster Teeth making a freaking mech series inspired by anime. Yes, thank you. Yes. And this was to whet our appetite here. Then we got the premiere poster. Yeah, I'm sorry for the crop images, people, but we're just gonna have to deal with that. And it showed the characters the characters here and everything. What else to say here? We see more of their mechs here. It's easy to tell who is who. However, we see designs here that it's a long row before we get these a bunny-eared mech here, and this Oni-looking one. It's way down the line. But let's get on to what Genlock is here. First of all, who's directing this show? Well, that'd be this guy here, Gary Hardock, who we know as the voice of Roman Torchwick. So Roman Torchwick, he's directing it, and he's come off to say that he's got several inspirations, them being Ghost in the Shell, Gundam, Aldnoah Zero, which is actually a more or less recent one from the late 2000s, something like that, to early teens. Wow, and even the mechs kind of resemble the titular one here. And we got, of course, this series here. I have no idea how to pronounce that name, but I've never seen that show before. Don't know what it's about. But another one that clearly draws inspiration is Ido, or as some people pronounce it, ID0 here. Yes, but this one here I can see being almost the center focus once you get to the technology of the mechs. But the show is promises to be centered around the whole concept of identity, in which the countries, government, and everything, we got the two political factions, and even the technology involving the mechs in this series here and their pilots here, just how it affects them. But we'll get to that when we get to that here. Let's break down first. Let me just close all these down. Okay, and we move up here to the well, okay. First, let's move on to the factions. There's only two here. We got the polity, which, judging by their insignia here, they grew out from the United Nations here, and they're pretty much the protagonist side here. They're all about multiculturalism and stuff like that, diversity, and everything. So yeah, they're the ones who the vanguards work for, and they're the ones who's supposed to be cheering. And then we got the enemy side here, the Union. There is absolutely no picture about their logo or anything like that, but their full name. Well, let me get it right here, because it's a ridiculously unnecessarily long name. But their full name is the Great Union of the Fourth Turning Republics. Fourth Turning Republics. You know, for some reason, I think it's like the Fourth Reich, if you will, like it's like something like that. Like it's the new Nazis, but they're all about the monoculture. They're described as being authoritarian, and yeah, they just want to make things all of Earth, all of humanity, essentially one culture, one way of thinking. I have no idea what that entails here, but I can imagine here that involves like having a spoken one single language here, a single culture, with everyone pretty much just being forgotten and erased, and they have influence. As we see here in the character reveal trailers, we see in this video image right here, their influence is pretty clear here. The red represents the Union territories here. And you can tell that they pretty much focus on more of the coastal areas. But to this day, we still don't know exactly where the Union originated from. I mean, what's their center base of operations? Because even though they say that this is a war that has really no borders and Union supporters and military can pop out of anywhere, there still has to be a place where this all started, where this movement took off. And they have to have a place where factories where they build all their armor, their weapons, their robots. We still don't know anything about them except that they're big. They're big and they're growing here. As we see in this before and after image here, we got the United States here in like one of the character reveal trailers here, where we see the Union like spread in the United States here, mostly focused around the main eastern seaboard here. Surprisingly, Maine doesn't seem to be taken, but in the next character reveal, we actually see that they quickly spread westward and almost entering Middle America. So they are clearly growing here, and why they growed here is interesting, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's talk about now the characters. Now, we got the settings pretty much down here and what's at stake here. Now let's go to the characters here, starting with the one we know most about, Julian Chase here. He's our protagonist character, voiced by Michael B. Jordan. He's Vanguard. He was a pilot for the Vanguard, and he was actually chosen for for the Genlock program because he was the first subject who was viable candidate here. And we know he has a girlfriend, and also as a Vanguard, but a ground pounder. Interesting though. And we also learned from the trailer that he has a family, a mother and sister, very much alive. Let me just correct that because, boy. So yeah, mother and sister very much alive. And this image right here shows an interesting picture here of his past, mainly his family, where it's quite clear that his father, it looks like he was a cop. He at least was law enforcement and possibly could have been ex-military before going into a police job. But it could also be the inspiration for why Jace joined the Vanguard. and became who he is today. Sorry. So yeah, he's all we got about here. And even then, it's not a whole lot here. We just know that he's the most sympathetic here. And he's voiced by Michael B. Jordan. Now we got the other one, the second candidate for the Genlock program, Yasamin Madrani. Okay, this one's interesting as well, but she's very little information about her. We know she's from Iran, and she has military training here. But her profile does not list her as Vanguard at all. It just says she has military training. Sorry, people, I just noticed the OBS stuttering there. I'm a little paranoid right now, so I apologize. And, well, clearly she has a criminal record here because we learned that she was in the Mesa Detention Center here. She is not known to talk about her past, and another thing I noticed from the trailer and all the other stuff is that she doesn't smile. She always has like a serious face here, but apparently she did find her calling in the Genlock program. So she's a mystery character in a way. She's like she's like the brooding, almost like I have a dark past which I do not want to get into. We'll get to know her and she'll probably smile because yeah. Okay, so now we get with the rest of the team here. And we can already tell who's who. I'm expanding this. Now we got the Scottish one here in the green and the black and green here with a little robot little pet right there. We got the Japanese tanker dude, who's also a rocker, smoker, and has been known for insubordination, but we'll get to that there. We got the Ukrainian, and here we got like guy who's supposed to represent the all-American military dude. You can tell which one is the boring one just by looking at their posture and everything like that. I'm kind of being rude on the guy here, but yeah. He comes off as that, like so proper and prim, always like with his hands behind his back. Even though, yes, he's military just like Jace, but clearly he's far more disciplined. But again, we'll get to him when we get to him. Let's get on with the character who had the most screen time so far, and that's Cameron McLeod here, hacker, and technically I can consider the third, even though they were all selected at once. But yes, she is apparently the youngest member, I presume, and the only one we actually see in her like Genlock plug suit, pilot suit, whatever you like to call it. But clearly she's already a fan favorite. And I don't blame her. I mean, we like the Scottish accent and everything like that, but right now I'd just like to know how exactly her hacking skills will work in this program here. That'll be the most interesting part, because this is evolved to a point where we got cyber warfare had to be at its peak. We got a nano swarm cloud the Union likes to make, and who knows what else. So her expertise will no doubt come in handy in future. Okay, and now we got some of the less known people here. We got Kazu Idae. I am sorry if I mispronounced that name, but like I said from the beginning here, like all we know about him is that he's a tanker, a cook, and has a rebellious and insubordination streak here. Like his old unit was more than happy to just see him go. Just see him go here. He's also known to be a rocker and like to smoke and just kick back and relax here. But other than that, we don't know much of his personality here. He does not speak English. He always speaks Japanese, which that's a great part here, people, because Rooster Teeth, again, showing how much they have grown, has got a legendary voice actor from Japan. Koichi sorry, let me see. I'm trying to pronounce his name here. Koichi Yamadera, who we would better known him as playing the voice of Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop and Togusa from Ghost in the Shell's Solid State Society, Second Gig, and Standalone Complex. All those series. So this guy is A-list, and the fact that Rooster Teeth got managed to get them for their show truly shows that they got impressive reach now. To the point where they can just call up a voice acting company in Japan and ask for a star seiyuu like this guy. I mean, you thought Michael B. Jordan and Dakota Fanning were impressive? Those guys are local. I mean, even David Tennant is more local than the freaking Spike Spiegel, for crying out loud. I mean, I'm still surprised by this. Anyhow, okay, let's move on to the next character here. Sorry to look this up. Okay, now we got Miss Valentina. I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce her last name, but nickname Val here. We know that she is a former Ukrainian covert ops agent here. We've seen her that she specializes as a sniper. Apparently she was equipped with a cloaking system at one point, and after retiring, she took up dancing. She apparently frequents the dance clubs. Other than that, not much else is known here, but I can see from her background, she is obviously going to be used as a sniper. Recon sniper and everything like that, laying the back, which, alright, no problem. We always need, you should always have a team sniper. I'm sorry if I'm stuttering a lot of people, but oh boy. And now we got to the guy who just seems like the most boring right out the gate. Rob Sinclair. Okay. He was an American Ranger. He is in the Vanguard, like Chase here. And he's clearly decorated from what we've seen in the character reveal. But he also seems like the most military of the group here. We see him here just standing proper and straight and just kind of looking boring. Now that could change, of course. He could eventually grow to become a more interesting character as it goes on here. And it's actually a good way to view how the genlock and the whole process it does affects him. But we'll get to that when we get to that here. Alright, so far everything's working fine. I'm sorry people, I'm a little nervous right now because of the unreliable internet here and I'm afraid of drop. But now let's get to someone else here, the more science cast. Dr. Weller, voiced by David Tennant, the Doctor. You get the Doctor to voice an eccentric doctor. Can you say typecasting, people? Because yes, this guy is fun. The character reveals we've seen him when he was talking to the Colonel. The banter he gets with her is just hilarious. And one of the best things about this guy is that he's got a little like a robot assistant called Caliban here. And what's his story? Because we know nothing about this robot here. I want to know more. But he's a guy who made the Genlock project and everything like that. And from the dialogue we heard with the Colonel, he's not at all that happy that it became militarized. He speaks highly of his program here, citing it as the next step in human evolution, which honestly, playing currently Deus Ex Mankind Divided reminds me a lot of what David Seraph used to say in the previous game. But even then, it's like, what? Really? I mean, I'm over robotics and everything like that. The more the merrier. I'd like to have some more. I mean, I'm always up for some upgrades myself, but the next step in evolution. Overselling it much. Still, it has shown to be possibly a game changer so far from what we've seen. And I'm curious to see how this character grows, just how he develops and how he interacts with everyone here, because so far he acts like an excited kid, and the candidates they're guinea pigs. They are guinea pigs because this is brand new technology, completely untested. And which leads to the problem with the Colonel here. Yeah, let's get to the Colonel here. We got Raquel Marin, who is Puerto Rican. Represent, please. But she is just a stereotypical, like, military colonel here. She's the one who got the doctor's Genlock program, like I said, militarized against his wishes. As we see in the character reveal, by doing so, apparently the Union eventually caught on, and they excited more of a push. And she also kinda is unreasonable. Like she talks about increasing Genlock compatibility because she's not fond of the cadet pool. After, you know, the first two, like the hacker, the cook, the ex-covert, and the American Ranger, but mainly the hacker and the cook. She wants too much too soon, basically. Like I said, this technology has been completely untested, and she wants it like done fast. Like, this is what happens with military. Just try to have their way. I'm sorry, I'm being cruel here, but yeah. And now we see her here with the doctor here, but there's also another character that's kind of interesting. Sorry about this. And this guy here in the left of the screen. Anyone else think the synths from Fallout 4? Because what's the story behind this guy? They advanced robotics. This is 50 years in the future, people. Like, so they got to advance in robotics. Is he a synthetic human? Something like that. There's so much you can talk about with this guy alone here. Oh boy, but again, there are so few characters that have any information at all. I mean, in fact, I'm not even getting all of them all of them here. In fact, we got one last character here, and that is Miranda Worth, who is Jace's love interest here. Sorry. And all we know from her is that, yeah, like, she's in the Vanguard as well, but she's a Strider pilot here. She pilots those. She's a ground pounder unlike Jace, so okay. I'm curious to know what happens here, because in situations like this, the common cliche is that, yes, they're lovers, they're big, but eventually they'll like drift apart as Chase starts to fall for someone in the program, which I'm sure a lot of people are pointing to Yasmin, but Rooster Teeth has so far proven smart enough to avoid such cliches, and I have faith in them. Okay, so first. Recovering my voice, because this is the one I like to talk about the most here, and it's gonna be most annoying, especially with the aspect ratio change. But now we get to the Genlock mechs. Oh, these things are. Oh boy, there's just so much to talk about here. But let's get on here. Okay, we got the Genlock here, which instantly, as most people compare it to Gundam. They easily say it's a Gundam. It's like a Gundam, and I don't blame them at all. The head looks like a Gundam. I chose the ground Gundam here because of the shoulders, which I get into that in a moment. But really, these things more resemble the mechs from this mech here from Full Metal Panic. More of a similarity here. In fact, it's even a resemblance to the mech from Aldenoa Zero here on the Earth side here. Hell, the mechs even here, the Genlock mechs even blink like they do in Aldenoa Zero. We got a close-up here of the images as well. We can just see, obviously, the Gundam influence here with the goatee and everything, the face mask, and the Gundam ground, especially with these shoulder rails on the pauldrons here. Which makes me think, are we going to get a scene like this? Where we see one mech dragging another away from the battlefield in carnage like that. That would be just the ultimate, one of the most subtle and awesome nod here, because this scene here, people, it comes from the manga Lost War Chronicles here. Something that very few people have read outside of like extreme Gundam fans like myself here. So to see something like this, it would be just, it would blow my mind. It will blow my mind big time. Okay, so we got here, of course, now we got the mech team. Oh boy. Sorry. Now we got the mech, look at that, sorry. We got the mech team here, all of them geared out and everything. We can easily tell who is who based on the color. We got one in blue, Chase. The one in yellow, Yasamin, Madrin. We got Ida here in the red, and we can see actually if I maximize this. Sorry. If I maximize the screen here, we can actually see in the back, right there on top of the billboard, that has to be Val's mech here. She's working as the sniper. We don't see the color or anything like that, but it would fit her profile as a covert agent here, the sniper, perfectly to have her in the back as support. So that'd be just amazing here. And of course, we see them as well here without their armor, most of them. This is how they look like, at least the three here, without their armor here, just as naked here. And my god, they look very alien, actually, if you look at them. But with the armor, they look like Gundams. They look like something of real robots from various Gundams, Full Metal Panic, Ultra Zero, like I said here. I love, also, this harkens back to another thing that the doctor said when he commented about how the armor looks utilitarian. And yes, it's very utilitarian here because they're the same ones that were designed by the same company who makes their Striders. Alright. But as well, we're kind of disappointed in the fact that they look nothing at all like in the promotional poster. But that's okay, because the odds are this armor, it's actually just Gen 1 test armor. Like, they're just going to use it to collect data and protect and everything like that. And eventually, as the program expands, these guys gain more and more experience, they'll have their own custom armor tailored to their specialties and even aesthetics. Because, yeah, we got to have that. And we see, of course, another similarity here where the first step these mechs take is a little something I like to see as well. Like, we see Miss McCloud here. She's not piloting the mech. She is the mech. This is something else. They describe this as neural science. This is where the comparison to Ido comes in which their consciousness are literally transferred here. And oh boy, yes. Now they have to try to just adjust, learn how to walk, because they're literally like, actually, how tall are these mechs? They haven't disclosed how tall they are yet. But it's a brand new body for them, and they gotta get used to it. And I like how we're seeing this here. So it's just amazing here. But I will have to comment about one thing though. If we go back to this, pardon me, to this picture here, people. You notice anything missing? Anyone notice anything missing? Well, there's supposed to be a total of, let's see, 6 candidates. I only count 5. And the obvious one, Rob is missing. What's the story behind that? Is there an issue with Mr. Sinclair here that he's not here, or like he's having trouble like getting out of that like the hangar? I don't know, but he's hoping. And we see how good these mechs perform as well. Like, it's a massive shift actually. I mean, look at that. We got here Chase throwing a magazine in the air, back throwing it, and Yasmin grabbing it like that, just instantly. Wow. And this is brand new technology, and I'm just amazed here, pretty much compared to the Striders. Again, we'll get to that when we get to that, but the main thing about this here, let me just close everything here down. Okay, sorry about that. Now, the main interesting thing about this technology, like I said, it's brand new. I mean, what do we think about the phrase genlock? When we hear that, in a general sense, we think something that is locked, that's key to your genetics, your DNA. Like, this door will only open to my DNA, or this thing will only start with my genetic imprint, so on and so forth. It's key to me. Here, however, it describes a neuroscience that, like I said, completely and utterly untested. They have no idea what the side effects is. Yes, you are literally transferring your conscious mind from your organic body to a brand new, few stories tall, like, I don't know, I'm guessing they're like standard real robot size in 18-meter tall robot. How does that affect your mind? How does that affect your identity? And that's another thing about the theme about genlock here. It's about identity here. Much like how the union and the politics want to keep to one form of identity here, both multicultural and monocultured. Genlock is also about how this technology affects the identity of the pilots here, which actually reminded me of something else actually from Pacific Rim. And not the movie, but the comic books actually, where in the comic books, they showed the effects of the drift, the side effects here with a certain character here. Sorry. This here is Professor Lightcap here from the comic, from Pacific Rim here, who was the one who made the drift. Now, in this picture here, she's described as being, as well, OCD, going through depression, on medication, and I believe also introverted. So she had issues. But eventually, in her experiment, she eventually became the pilot of like one of the first ever Jaegers. And here she is after the drift. You would swear they are two different people here. It's like her identity changed drastically. She's unrecognizable from the scientist like that she once was. That's what the drift is. And that's what they're kind of touching on with genlock as well here. How this technology affects the pilots here. How it alters them in any way. And that'll be interesting. We'll see just how they change over time here. And it's terrifying when you think about it here, because science is altering you. You may not even recognize yourself. That alone is just a fascinating concept here. And I can't wait. But let's move on to more of the mechs here. Now here we have the Strider. Which, oh boy. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking either Battletech or Chrome Hounds. Because look at these things. It's like, in fact, this is another thing I gotta say. How do you get from this to, let me just lower it down here. Ah, crap. Sorry. Like, how do you get from that to these things? I just don't see that is a massive paradigm shift. It's like you're switching from these like slow, cumbersome, like weird-legged, no-armed walkers that may as well be from Star Wars. Yes, I said that. To fully humanoid mechs that can do somersault and other incredible forms of just feats. It's like a sorry, I got a little distracted here. And the lights went off. Well, what can I do? But yeah, anyhow, it's a complete shift in just engineering and everything. It's like you're switching from Western sensibilities to Eastern. How does that happen? I'm sorry, that's a silly thing to write on about, but I'm extraordinarily curious on how. Oh boy, but yeah, okay. Now we got the Union technology here. I'm sorry, and now we got the Union spider tanks. Who the first thing we compare it to are like the Tachikomas from Ghost in the Shell, and yes, but honestly, they actually look like a certain form of a spider tank we saw in, well, a certain episode of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex here. This one only appeared in one episode here, but this, yeah, I can see more of the similarity here as opposed to Tachikomas. Either way, we don't know much about these things, other than the fact they clearly have machine guns and cannons. Yeah, they are essentially taken from the spider tank designs of Ghost in the Shell here. I'm curious to know if this would be a problematic for them, because could this be considered copyright infringement? Well. Either way, I don't know much about them. We haven't seen how well they perform in battle here. Just that they are essentially their mainline units. But what's really interesting though is the Union's new mech. That looks like, apparently, as was compared to something, the Griffin from Patlabor, which I admit I have not watched Patlabor yet, but I certainly see the similarity. Except the fact that this thing has 4 hands, which just makes me question, is this thing utilizing the same Genlock technology as the Doctors? Because in the character reveals, well, they mention how when Jace went out in the field to test the technology and everything like that, his new body, the Colonel was afraid that the Union would learn about this and they would respond, which they did. Is this their answer to the new mechs that Vanguard is making? If it is, it's certainly something. Doesn't seem as powerful, though. I mean, we look at this. Yeah, we're looking at the thing right here. It's quite clear that the Vanguard's new mechs here, they have more mobility here, and they can do much more like acrobatic stuff like that. This thing here, the Union's mech, look very almost slowed down and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure it makes up for that in terms of raw power and striking ability, but I don't know. This looks very unfair. All I can say is that this probably has superior armor and strength. Oh boy, but anyhow, other than that, what else do we know? But nothing more. So, Rooster Teeth has managed to remain tight-lipped about Genlock and anything else to do here. I appreciate for that, man. I don't want any spoilers. I can't wait for the series here. What it will be like, I don't know, but I'm gushing over this big time. Sorry, people, and I'm probably boring a lot of you guys. I apologize for that. I have no confidence in myself whatsoever. It's my first time doing a live stream discussion. But anyhow, yes, tune in for this premiere of Genlock Saturday on January 26th. I can't wait. It's supposed to come after Ruby, which it ends, I believe. Yeah, I think that Ruby Volume 6 will end also on Saturday. Can't wait for that. Kind of looks like okay, the Union mech kind of looks like, yeah, the Greys and the Gulon Rebake arm gimmick. You know what? Yeah, I can see that actually. It looks like that as well. the question is it as good? I doubt it, but we don't know. Like I said, we know nothing about the Union here. The only interesting piece of technology we've seen of the Union is their nanoswarm technology. That's about it, which I don't know how effective it is or anything like that. Will it break down organic matter into its like base components and use it as fuel like in Horizon Zero Dawn? I doubt it, but I wouldn't be surprised either way. So everyone, that's it. That's all I got to say here. That's all we know. I delved into the story, the background, what little we know about this whole being a cultural war and a matter of identity. The characters, what little information they were, and I had to leave out some characters here because there was nothing on them. Just pictures and that they are part of the program, but that's it. I don't know. We don't know their role or anything like that here. We just know what they've shown about the main Genlock candidates, the Colonel, the Doctor, and Chase's girlfriend. Other than that, they don't even have technical specs of the mechs yet. And that's what I really desire the most. So we'll just have to wait until the show premieres and see for ourselves. So everyone, thank you all for watching my live stream discussion here. I hope it all went well. There was no issues whatsoever. Apparently, me changing the ratio here seemed to have helped. Although it completely messed the placement of all the images I had. Well, live and learn. As always, comment below what you all thought. Like and subscribe for more videos in the future here. And I'll see about doing this every episode here, because this is my thing. This Genlock is my thing. Until then, this is Mecha-san. Good night, everyone.